Part 81. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 803. 801. Although Qi Zhengan and Huo Yingzhe hate each other, they do a good job on the surface. It's pretentious, at least others can't see the difference. He Tiantian even thought that Huo Yingzhe had changed his gender and could face his former love rival so calmly. The lunch was very sumptuous. Qi Zhenmin ate dishes he had never tasted before. From time to time, he asked Zhang Aijun about the origin and ingredients of each dish. When Zhang Aijun saw that everyone liked his food, he naturally told them everything. After dinner, Huo Yingzhe took his luggage and prepared to leave. Qi Zhengan hadn't left yet at this time. When he saw Huo Yingzhe leaving, he raised his eyebrows at him maliciously. Huo Yingzhe was furious and went to the train station holding his breath. "Yingzhe, take care on the road and take good care of yourself," he Tiantian whispered. "In this bag is the braised pork I prepared for you. You can give some to Mr. Sun and keep some for yourself. Eat on time and take good care of yourself." I took note of it. Huo Yingzhe nodded and picked up the food he Tiantian had prepared for her. It weighs more than 10 kilograms, and it contains not only braised pork, but also many snacks. He Tiantian is not sad to leave this time. Anyway, we can see her again next week. Goodbye, Dad. Huo Ruimin hugged her father's neck and kissed Huo Yingzhe several times. "Dad, come back soon," Huo Ruwa whispered. When Qi Zhengan saw the two children surrounding Huo Yingzhe, he had long forgotten how much fun they had with him before. After all, he is his biological child and has a blood relationship, which is enviable. Qi Zhengan secretly thought to himself, will his children be so cute in the future? Hey, it seems a bit far away. We need to find a mother first. Afterwards, Qi Zhengan and Qi Zhenmin left. He Tiantian was in a happy mood. She couldn't help laughing when she thought that Huo Yingzhe could come back every week instead of half a year. Huo Zhekan, Zhang Lifang, and Grandma Wang were also very happy. As for the two children, they are even more proud and rampant. He Tiantian refused to give them snacks, and the two little ones actually said to He Tiantian, "Mom is stingy, Dad will beat you." "Humph," He Tiantian said disdainfully, "you two, don't be so arrogant. When your father comes back, I'll beat him up too. If you don't believe me, just go forward." The two children do not believe in evil and think that when their father comes, he will secretly give them delicious food and treat them towards them. So, they were anxiously waiting for their father to come back. It was another weekend, and Huo Yingzhe came back at night. Well, on Saturday morning, Huo Yingzhe got up and the two children complained. Huo Yingzhe seemed to understand. These two children were so bold. They actually instigated him to beat his wife. It was either bad or bad. He Tiantian was washing up when she heard two little complainers complaining. It's no use hurting them. With 2 drops of sweat on his forehead, Huo Yingzhe secretly glanced at He Tiantian in the bathroom, and happened to catch He Tianatian's warning eyes. "Son and daughter, you are still young. When you grow up, you will know that your mother is actually doing it for your own good," Huo Yingzhe comforted. "Besides, your mother is the biggest in our family. I can't beat her." "Dad, you are so tall and strong, can't you beat Mom?" Huo Ruimin didn't believe it, her eyes widened. Huo Ruwa also looked at his father suspiciously. Huo Yingzhe nodded and said, "I can't beat you. You see, your mother glared at me, and I was very scared." Huo Yingzhe shrinks his neck. Huo Ruimin was a little disappointed. Hey, she originally expected her father to be able to beat her mother. With her father's love for them, they could eat snacks as they pleased. Also, it's wrong for you to do this. Huo Yingzhe took the opportunity to say, "If my mother knew that you wanted to beat her, she would be very sad and become someone else's mother instead of you. No one will take you out to play in the future. There is no one to prepare delicious food for you, no one to buy you clothes, and no one to tell you stories. Huo Yingji couldn't bear to beat these two heartless little ones, so he could only be tempted. Hey, maybe Tianatian's discipline is too strict. He can persuade Tian in private later. Thinking of what their father said, the two children's eyes widened. After a while, Huo Ruimin whispered, "Dad, will Mom really leave us? You are not good and you want to beat her. If she finds out, she will be very sad, so she will be someone else's mother instead of yours." Huo Yingji said nonsense to scare the two children. Huo Ruwa thought for a while and said, "Actually, eating less snacks is good for your teeth." Yes, I will eat more and eat less snacks in the future." Huo Ruimin said, "Dad, please stop hitting Mom, Mom is such a good person." "Yeah, it's not a good thing to beat your wife," Huo Ruwa quickly agreed, with a serious expression on his delicate little face. Huo Yingji was dumbfounded. It was obvious that these two brats wanted to rebel, but how could he want to beat his wife? Not to mention, the two little ones actually ran to their mother to complain, saying that their father was going to beat their mother. Tian and Huo Yingji looked at each other, dumbfounded. However, Tian severely criticized her son and daughter for lying, saying, "I heard clearly just now that you are going to beat your mother. My mother loves you so much, and you let your father beat me. My mother is very sad." When Huo Ruimin saw what her mother said, she rolled her eyes and said, "Mom, Aunt Jingli said that spanking means kissing, scolding, and love. It's not a real spanking. Why are you so stupid?" "You have quite a few reasons," Tian said angrily. "You have two choices. First, ban snacks for a week. Second, I want to be a mother to someone else. You can choose one of the two." Huo Ruimin and Huo Ruwa, these two little things, after thinking carefully, said, "Let's choose the first one." Tian was even more dumbfounded. These two little things are really thinking. I wonder if they can cheat? "Okay, this is your choice," Tian said. "Okay, Mom needs to wash up, you can go out." Oh, the two children left the bathroom dejectedly. Huo Yingji also wanted to secretly give snacks to the child to prevent Tian from getting angry. "How will I educate my children in the future if you do this?" Tian frowned, feeling that Huo Yingji was trying to cause trouble. Huo Yingji smiled coquettishly and said, Tian, don't you think you are strict with your children?" "Strict?" Tian smiled angrily, "you haven't seen how annoying and naughty they are. I won't talk about the past, just this short month of this year. Rui Hua's teeth it hurts twice already, so I don't give them too much candy. Also, they used the slingshot at home to secretly hit other people's children, and two parents came to look for them. Not counting this, just the day before yesterday, they moved a few bricks in front of the house at night. Someone was riding a bicycle at night and fell down. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 804. 802. Tian complained that the children had done bad things one after another. Huo Yingji was dumbfounded. It was typical for him to go 3 days without getting a roof over his head. He didn't expect the child to be so naughty. "Well, according to what you said, the two children need to be disciplined more strictly," Huo Yingji agreed. "This is not the little darling who has been acting coquettishly in his arms, he is a little devil. So deceptive. Of course we have to discipline him," Tian said. "We have several adults in our family who often apologize to others. To put it bluntly, if your father hadn't been working outside, someone else would have lifted the roof off his house. Discipline them well, otherwise they will be just two naughty boys when they grow up." Huo Yingji said, "Why are these two little babies so naughty? They were quite honest when we were children, not at all like when we were children." "Haha," Tian laughed when he heard this. "Have you forgotten who once tricked little Fatty into a tree, came down by himself, and left little Fatty in the tree?" Huo Yingji smiled, Isn't that small? You were already older than Ruwa and Ruiman at that time, He Tian said. It was because you were naughty when you were a child and you passed it on to your children. Yes, yes, it's all my fault, Huo Yingja begged for mercy. Weren't all the stupid things he did back then just to vent his anger on He Tian, a little heartless person? The little guy admired him then, but now he complains about him. After some discussion, the couple reached an agreement on how to discipline their children. They could not understand one thing clearly and do another behind the scenes, leaving the children with a sense of luck. Sure enough, after their parents' high pressure and severe measures, the two children became much better behaved, and fewer people came to complain at home, which made the couple feel relieved. In the family, with Huo Yingji's participation, the adults are happy and the children are happier and more cheerful. March arrived in a blink of an eye. Niu Daijin is here to discuss going to Yanjing with He Tian. Brother Daijin, where is Xiao Yan? He Tian asked. Originally, she would have thought that Chi Xiao Yan would go to Yanjing with Niu Daijin. Haha, Niu Daijin smiled heartily. I will come here first this time to discuss the cooperation content with you. I will go to Yanjing, settle down there first, rent a house, and then I will send a telegram to my uncle. Send Xiao Yan and the child over. Well, that's fine, He Tian said. Okay, what are your plans? Niu Daijin smiled and said, I have a total of 1.2 million now. How many shares will you give me? He Tian thought for a while and said, Brother Daijin, the house prices in Yanjing are cheap now. I spent 480,000 to buy a big courtyard with 3 entrances and 3 exits. Even if you can't live in a big courtyard, you can live in 2 if you get a double entry. It will definitely increase in value in the future, and you will also have a place to stay in Yanjing, making it easier for your children to go to school and Xiao Yan to study. When Niu Daijin heard what He Tian said, he nodded and said, Okay, I will spend 300,000 yuan to buy a house for the time being. He Tian took out the drawings, which were a yard facing the street and a house close to the big park that He Tian bought before, and said, although these houses can be opened with a little decoration now, I don't want to do that. I want to all the houses will be demolished, and then a 3-story antique building will be built. The first floor will sell our Sanfan Kiao products, and the second and third floors can be used as tea houses or restaurants. Niu Daijin was stunned, took the drawing and looked at it carefully, and said, Tian, the investment is huge, so I'd better not buy a house with the 300,000 yuan and invest it first. No need, He Tian couldn't be so selfish. I made a budget and our total investment needs 5 million. 5 million, Niu Daijin was stunned. Oh my god, can we make it? He Tian smiled and said, it's okay, trust me. People's living standards will get better and better in the future, and it will definitely not be a loss to open a restaurant. But this doesn't happen overnight, it needs to be done step by step. However, the house needs to be built in 1 step. After the braised pork shop is stable, we can slowly start planning. Well, okay, I believe you, Niu Daijin said, I will accept whatever you say. He Tian smiled and said, we will divide the shares into 10 shares. You will pay 900,000 for 20%, plus your management, and we will give you another 10%, for a total of 30% of the shares. I will pay for the remaining money, 70% give it to me. I will give 30% of my 70% to my uncle's family, 10% to my mother-in-law, and I will keep 40% for myself. No, Tian, I want 2 cents. I can't take advantage of you, Niu Daijin declined. 1 cent was 500,000, and he didn't dare to accept it. Brother Daijin, I believe in your ability, so I give you this 10% share. At the same time, there are requirements. This 10% share is a professional manager's share. If you do well, I will give it to you. If you do not do well, I will give it to you. When the time comes, We can only ask for Gao Ming, and we will give it to others. Niu Daijin nodded and said, well, okay, that's fine, otherwise I won't feel at ease holding it. He Tiantian nodded and said, let me explain here that the shares I gave to the uncle's family are dry shares. They may invest some money, but it is not likely to be much. They only have the right to dividends and no management rights. When you arrive in Yanjing, build the house first. By the way, I have introduced you to a friend. He is very experienced in ancient buildings. Just build it according to his requirements. Well, that's okay, Niu Daijin nodded, it will probably take several months until the house is built and decorated. Yeah, so don't worry, he Tiantian said, I will give you a list. When the time comes, you can visit them. If you encounter any problems, go to them. I guarantee that they will be solved for you. You don't have to worry about your life. It's hard to do things if you're not familiar with the place. Haha, okay, Niu Daijin was relieved. Yanjing is the base camp of the Huo family, so there is no need to worry about these interpersonal relationships. Okay, brother Daijin, you go to bed early. I will ask Huashan to come over tomorrow to discuss the specific details. We must build the house as perfectly as possible. He Tiantian explained that in order to build these houses, He Tiantian spent all his savings. It's all over the place. However, the investment there is huge, and I believe we can earn more in the future. Over the weekend, Huo Yingjia also came back and joined the discussion. Niu Daijin is responsible for overall planning, Huashan is responsible for construction and decoration, and Huo Yingjia is responsible for improving the kitchen equipment inside. It took 2 days to make plans and arrangements. Afterwards, Huashan and Niu Daijin went to Yanjing together. The reason why Huashan was so enthusiastic was, on the one hand, to help He Tiantian build a shop and decorate the house, and on the other hand, he wanted to search for treasures in the antique streets of Yanjing to see if he could find anything missing. Huo Yingjia sorted out the hidden clues in his hand and handed them to Niu Daijin, a few that could be used, and introduced everyone's situation to him. This one was more useful than the one He Tiantian gave him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 805. 803. When Huashan arrived in Yanjing, he began to check the location of the house, feng shui, and then design the best antique building. Niu Daijin first found Lao Lian and asked him to inquire about houses near He Tianatian's home. Lao Lian is a transparent person. He also received a telegram from He Tiantian before and tried his best to help find a house. After that, Huashan was busy registering the company, applying for reconstruction of the house, etc. Even though he has many acquaintances, Niu Daijin still has to go to many departments to complete various document procedures. This alone took me a month. After that, I contacted the building materials dealer and started purchasing various materials for building a house. In order to ensure the quality of the house, Niu Daijin found a well-known local builder through his connections. In order to avoid being deceived, Niu Daijin went directly to a big leader who specialized in managing the construction company department and made an appointment with the head of the construction company to have a meal. Zhang David, the former leader of Hongda Construction Company, still thought that Niu Daijin was a foreigner and wanted to pass off inferior quality and make a lot of money. However, when he saw that Niu Daijin had brought a senior leader over, he suddenly stopped thinking. If possible, Niu Daijin wouldn't want this. In fact, if you don't do this, you can't even think about getting the house stipulated in the contract. A house is a very special thing. Unlike food, you can tear it open, look at it, smell it, and know on the spot whether it is good or not. If the house is not built well, or if it is shoddy in small areas, it will not be noticeable at all. Originally, Hwashan could come back in a month, but seeing that Niu Daejin was too busy alone, he stayed to help. Anyway, he was working for He Tien Tien. With the help of Lao Lian, Niu Daejin bought a yard 1 kilometer away from He Tianatian's home, with 2.5 entrances. It was not as big as He Tianatian's house, but the condition of the house was similar. He spent 330,000. The house is in good condition, just needs a little cleaning and some paint, and it's ready for move-in. Later, I spent 20,000 yuan from He Tien Tien to buy furniture, bedding, etc., and finally organized the 2 yards. Their parents lived in the former main courtyard, while Niu Daejin, Chi Xiaoyan, and their children lived in the backyard. The remaining half of the courtyard was temporarily unused, and Niu Daejin did not clean it. A month later, Chi Xiaoyan, escorted by her elder brother Chi Rongmin, came to Yanjing with her 2 children and Niu Daejin's retired parents. Niu Daejin picked up his family at the entrance of the train station holding a sign and looking forward to it. Chi Xiaoyan stood at the door and saw Niu Daejin holding a big sign, waiting for them. Seeing such a scene, Chi Xiaoyan was very moved. Her husband would do anything for her, her parents-in-law were worried about them and followed them. I left my hometown all because of her. Chi Xiaoyan made a mental note of her kindness to her family, and will treat her family twice as kindly in the future. Daddy, Daddy. After seeing their father, the 2 big boys broke free from their grandparents' hands and ran to their father. There were a lot of people, so the cow father and the cow mother couldn't be more at ease. They held the child's hand tightly. In order to pick up his family, Niu Daejin rented a car and came to pick him up. This is a 7-seater car, just big enough for seating. After Niu Daejin arrived in Yanjing, He Tien Tien bought a second-hand car directly from Qi Zhengan to give Niu Daejin a front. Once it's on track, I'll replace it with Niu Daejin. Mom, Dad, brother, thank you for your hard work. Niu Daejin thanked him. Let's go home. Qi Rongmin smiled and said, it's not hard. My sister and brother-in-law came to Yanjing to make a living and let them run the family shop, making a lot of money every month. Their sister was so kind to them, so why did Qi Rongmin come to see her off? Brother Daejin, how long will it take for us to get home? Chi Xiaoyan asked. She bought a house here and she felt like she had a home here. There are still 50 minutes of this, and we will be home in a while. Niu Daejin said, our house is very big. You will definitely like it when you see it. By the way, the house we bought is only 1 kilometer away from Tianatian's house. It takes a few minutes to walk, it'll be there. That's great, Chi Xiaoyan said. I wonder when Sister Tian Tian and the others will come to Yanjing. With Tian Tian here, I feel like I have a backbone, and we are not afraid of anything. Even if Tian Tian can't come, she has made arrangements for us. Niu Daejin said, I have also contacted the child's school. I can go to school directly after 2 days of rest. Well, that's great, Chi Xiaoyan said, chatting and laughing along the way, and soon arrived home. After getting out of the car, Niu Daejin paid and gave the driver a pack of cigarettes before taking the people in. The cow father and the cow mother looked at the red lacquer door in front of them. The copper locks on it were yellow and orange, and the threshold was high. Daejin, this house used to be the courtyard of a wealthy family, Niu's father lamented. He really didn't expect that they could buy such a house at the foot of the imperial city. Originally, I was full of complaints about my son and daughter-in-law coming to Yanjing. But seeing this, Niu's father had a major change in his heart. In ancient times, only high-ranking officials had such ability. It was worth it for his son and daughter-in-law to have such a courtyard at the foot of the imperial city. Niu's father supported his old wife and walked into the yard together. The 2 little guys Niu Da and Niu Er couldn't get over the threshold, so they just climbed over. Entering the door is the screen wall, followed by the second door of the courtyard, with 2 rooms on each side. After entering the second door, Niu Daejin said, Mom and Dad, the main room is prepared for you. 2 rooms are the living room, and the other 2 rooms are for me bedroom. The east wing is the kitchen and dining room, and the west wing is the guest room. Xiao Yan and I live in the backyard with our children. There is another yard that we don't use, so I didn't clean it up. Not bad, not bad. I want to look around. Niu's father was delighted and wanted to go shopping. Niu Daejin smiled and said, Mom and Dad, go to the house to rest for a while. Anyway, we will take a look, and we won't miss anything. No, I have to take a look. Niu's father ignored his son and had to look around. Ignore your dad, let's go into the house, Niu Mu said, greeting Chi Rongmin. Everyone likes the furnishings in the house, which shows that Niu Daejin has put his heart into it. After a while, Niu's father came back and said, that empty yard can't be left unused. Tomorrow I will plow the land and plant some vegetables. I originally wanted to wait for my daughter-in-law and grandson to settle down before leaving, but now I don't want to leave. I decided to stay here for a while and soak up the dragon spirit of the imperial city. It's up to you, Niu Daejin said. I bought some food in the kitchen and I'll cook. Mom, Dad, brother, you guys are chatting in the house, and I'm going to cook too. Chi Xiao Yan followed and went out with her husband. As for the 2 children, they have already started playing in the yard. Daejin, thank you for your hard work. When she arrived in the kitchen, seeing no one around her, Chi Xiao Yan stood up on tiptoes and kissed Niu Daejin on the face. Seeing his little daughter-in-law happy means that all Niu Daejin's hard work is nothing. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 806. 804. Niu Daejin smiled and said, after I came to Yanjing, I realized that I was like a frog in the well. There are many business opportunities here, and we have also bought a house. You learn your singing well, and I do business well. I will definitely get better and better of. Yes, I firmly believe it too, Chi Xiao Yan said, let's work hard together. After that, the family started exploring and settled in the novelty. Chi Rongmin stayed for more than 10 days, visited places of interest, took many photos, and reluctantly left with many souvenirs. Chi Xiao Yan selected some photos and wrote a thick stack of letters to send to He Tiantian. He Tiantian saw that Chi Xiao Yan and Niu Daejin had settled down, and she could finally feel relieved. Yingzhe, even if my parents are transferred back to Yanjing in 2 years, we will still have a place to live. He Tiantian smiled and said, compared to Yanjing, I still like Nanxi here. What about you? I grew up in Nan City, so naturally I like Nan City more. Huo Yingzhe said, I will accompany you in Nan City. As for my parents, they are still young and can still contribute 20 years to socialism year. Haha. He Tiantian smiled and did not try to squeeze Huo Yingzhe as usual. Let me tell you, I have invested all our family's money. What I give you is yours, Huo Yingzhe said. By the way, I still have some money in my bank book. You can take it out if you need it. It's estimated to be 7 or 8,000. Yes, I will. He Tiantian said, I will give you enough pocket money, and I won't let you have no money for a treat. Huo Yingzhe didn't smoke and rarely drank alcohol, so He Tiantian ignored it. Well, thank you, my wife, for the reward, Huo Yingzhe said with a smile. Anyway, there was a working meal at work, and he couldn't use up his share, so he didn't need to spend money. When Huo Yingzhe and He Tiantian were thinking about how to live a better life in Nanxi in the future, Mr. Sun dropped a heavy bomb on Huo Yingzhe. Yingzhe, your work is excellent, General Engineer Sun praised. I am very satisfied. Huo Yingzhe frowned. According to the past, Mr. Sun would not say such words before the work was over. General Manager Sun, can you tell me directly if you have any projects? Huo Yingzhe asked. Seeing General Manager Sun beating around the bush, he felt a little uncomfortable. Mr. Sun smiled bitterly and sighed, hey, my small temple here can't fit your big Buddha bottle. Ah, Huo Yingzhe was surprised, what do you mean? Did you drive me away too? Huo Yingzhe was inexplicably excited. What a beautiful idea, General Engineer Sun smiled. The research institute directly under the Yanjing Science and Technology Commission transferred you to the research institute to study a project. It is estimated that after you complete it, they will not let you back. Huo Yingzhe was stunned and said, you won't be able to go home for 2 or 3 years like before, right? General Manager Sun looked at Huo Yingzhe with an expression of disdain and said, can you focus more on your career? Hey, I just want to take care of my family and career, Huo Yingzhe said. General Manager Sun, tell me the truth. If you can't go home every day, not more than a week at most, just refuse it for me. Refuse? Mr. Sun glared angrily. Do you know how important this project is? Many people dream of it but may not be able to go. Haha, Huo Yingzhe was worried that he would make the old man angry. If you don't refuse, I just want to give more time to my family. In fact, every time I go home, after I come back, I am full of energy and my brain is full of energy. Very clear-headed, very efficient at work, getting twice the result with half the effort. Haha, indeed. Mr. Sun smiled half-heartedly and gave Huo Yingzhe a meaningful look. I don't know if you did it on purpose. Ahem, Huo Yingzhe touched his nose and said, I can't hide anything from Mr. Sun. That is to say, you have real materials. If it were anyone else, you would have been locked up in a dark room. Mr. Sun shook his head and laughed. Don't worry, that project needs to be carried out in a large enterprise factory. It shouldn't be Shangugu, you should be able to go home every day. When Huo Yingzhe heard this, his eyes lit up. This was better than being at the Nanshi Research Institute. That's okay, Huo Yingzhe nodded, I'll go and I won't embarrass you. Hey, you went to Yanjing. It's not as good as my place. You can keep your tail between your legs, but you can't be as insignificant as you are in front of me, Mr. Sun said, but you can't be afraid either. Cringe, after all, you have so many achievements, and besides, Yanjing is the headquarters of your Huo family. Although your father and uncle are now in official careers, your grandfather started in the war and was always a bit thin, and you are at the top. You have also registered. As long as you work hard and conscientiously, you will definitely have a bright future. General Manager Sun had already told his old friend about Huo Yingzhe, and the man also admired Huo Yingzhe very much. If he is capable and powerful, if he does not rise to the top, it can only be said that Huo Yingzhe is in bad luck. But obviously, Huo Yingzhe is not a person who is unlucky. Originally, General Manager Sun wanted to train Huo Yingzhe and let Huo Yingzhe take over his position in the future, but he was not the only one who liked Huo Yingzhe. Huo Yingzhe left Nanshi this time and went to Yanjing so that he could have a wider space. Huo Yingzhe was very moved after hearing this. He nodded and said, Thank you, Mr. Sun, for taking care of me. I will always keep it in my heart and I dare not forget it. Okay, if you work hard from now on, you can take it as a thank you to me, Mr. Sun said. Go back and finish the work you are doing now, and you will go report. Yes, Huo Yingzhe nodded, looked at Mr. Sun carefully, and found that Mr. Sun was older than before. Thinking of Mr. Sun's kindness to him, Huo Yingzhe was going to give Mr. Sun the fitness pills in the storage space in 2 days. He hoped that Mr. Sun and Aunt Li would be healthy and live a long life. Okay, you go back first, Mr. Sun said, feeling a little sad, but he didn't want to show his sadness in front of Huo Yingzhe and let the juniors see it. Huo Yingzhe stood up and left. When closing the door, he glanced at Mr. Sun again. After Huo Yingzhe returned, he focused on his work. It took him 5 days to finally complete the final inspection of the project, sort out the materials, and personally bring them to Chief Engineer Sun. Mr. Sun looked at the materials and said, Well, not bad. Well done. Yingzhe, you never let down those who think highly of you. Huo Yingzhe smiled and said, I'm just trying my best. By the way, if you go there alone, you will always be unable to support yourself. Mr. Sun said, bring the aid to Korea with you. Ah, Huo Yingja was stunned, can I take the aid to Korea? Yeah, Mr. Sun said, yes, it's better for that kid to be by your side and protected by you than to live alone. After all, I'm going to retire soon and I won't be able to protect him for much longer. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 807. 805. Huo Yingja was naturally happy, but Zhou Yuanchao had a bright future at the Nanji Research Institute. Wouldn't it be a pity to give up here? For the sake of his good brother's future, Huo Yingja also wanted to hear Mr. Sun's opinion. I know what you mean. I think it's a pity that Zhou Yuanchao left here, isn't it? Mr. Sun said, as if he could see Huo Yingja's heart clearly. Yes, Huo Yingja nodded. He did feel it was a pity. Besides this reason, what other reasons are there? Zhou Yuanchao's disaster has passed, and he is alive now, and nothing should happen to him. Chief Engineer Sun said with emotion, hey, Zhou Yuanchao has a worse temper than you. Only you can control him. Furthermore, he is not capable enough to lead a team independently. He can only complete a small project and cannot become a big success. But if you follow, you are different. You can show him the direction. Zhou Yuanchao can quickly understand and work very efficiently. He is a rare talent and works well with you. Huo Yingja nodded. It was because of these two reasons that what happened to Zhou Yuanchao in his previous life led to a catastrophe. That's true. Huo Yingja nodded. Okay, I'll take Zhou Yuanchao with me. We can support each other when we get to the new place, so we won't be alone. Well, that's what I think too, Mr. Sun said. When you get to the new unit, you have to do a good job, so that my earnest teachings to you will be in vain. Yes, Mr. Sunday. Huo Yingja nodded, and then took out 2 bottles of pills from his arms. Mr. Sun, these are the fitness pills I asked an old Chinese doctor to make for the elderly at home. They are all good medicinal materials. A secret recipe passed down from ancient times. It will improve your health after eating it. The elders in my family have already taken it. I'll give you these 2 bottles. Manager Sun smiled, took it, opened the lid, smelled it, and said, the taste seems to be very pure. Yes, 1 pill every 3 months, Huo Yingja said, just take it with warm water. General Manager Sun didn't want to live up to Huo Yingja's kindness, and he was in need of it these days, so he poured out a pill, put it in his mouth, and drank the pill with warm water in the cup on the table. After eating, Mr. Sun suddenly felt warm in his stomach, unlike before, which was always full of gas. That's right, I've accepted your pills, Mr. Sun said. It seems that there is enough for 1 person to take for 2 years. Do you want to put them in the refrigerator? No need, just leave it at room temperature, Huo Yingja said. When you finish eating, I will give it to you and Aunt Li again. Can I give this to someone else? Manager Sun asked, thinking of that old friend. I can't give it to you. This is customized according to your situation, Huo Yingja said. It has your name on it, so you can't mix it up. In fact, the instructions were all written by Huo Yingja temporarily. In fact, the prescription can be used by anyone. Although the efficacy is greatly reduced, the refining is convenient, but it already has sufficient healthcare effects. Okay, then I thank you, Mr. Sun said. By the way, your Aunt Li said that she would ask Shang Yuanchao and his wife to come over tonight. She will treat you to dinner and see you off. Well, tell them when we get back. Huo Yingja nodded and went to General Manager Sun's house for dinner today. Tomorrow he will invite the people in the group to dinner, and it will be treated as the final breakup meal. Yuanchao, call your wife, let's go to Mr. Sun's house for dinner, Huo Yingja said. Go back to the dormitory first, pack up the things in the house, usable and edible things, give them to others, and don't take them away. Okay, Zhou Yuanchao chuckled. He didn't know what was going on, he just thought it was an ordinary dinner party. Huo Yingzhe arrived at home and put away his clothes and other small things. He would ask the team members tomorrow and take them if they want them. And those snacks, I will give them to everyone when we treat tomorrow. It wasn't until 5:30, when Wang Ying got off work, that Zhou Yuanchao came over with his child in his arms and said, "Boss, let's go." Okay, Huo Yingzhe nodded, took the money, and prepared to buy some things and express his feelings. Seeing Huo Yingzhe buying so many things, Zhou Yuanchao asked, "Boss, you went to Mr. Sun's house for dinner before, just to express your gratitude. Why did you buy so much today?" "Hey, I'm afraid I won't have a chance in the future," Huo Yingzhe said. "Although it can be mailed in the future, after checking at all levels, I don't know what condition it is in when it gets to Mr. Sun." Wang Ying was shopping not far away and didn't hear the sound here. "Boss, what do you mean?" Zhou Yuanchao asked. "It sounds like a separation between life and death. Is Mr. Sun in poor health?" Zhou Yuanchao's first reaction was this. General Engineer Sun's old age is obvious to everyone. Huo Yingzhe shook his head and said, "General Manager Sun is in good health, but a little tired. Don't think blindly, it's me." "Ah," Zhou Yuanchao was stunned. "Is there something going on that will transfer you away?" "Yeah," Huo Yingzhe nodded, "but it's not just me, but you too. You can be transferred with me." "Should I be transferred too?" Zhou Yuanchao was stunned. In fact, in his heart, he was unwilling to leave Nanji. His ancestral home was here, his mother-in-law was here, and his mother and stepfather also agreed to come to Nanji. Everything was arranged, but he was suddenly transferred to Yanjing, which caught him a little off guard. "Yes, General Manager Sun will probably tell you about this matter during dinner tonight," Huo Yingzhe said. "Maybe you don't want to leave here, but General Manager Sun will probably explain it to you tonight." Zhou Yuanchao looked at his daughter in his arms. It would never be wrong to follow the boss. "Boss, if we are transferred together, can we work together?" Zhou Yuanchao asked. "If I don't work with you, I will tell Mr. Sun that I won't go." "You are working with me," Huo Yingzhe said. "Don't worry, follow me, I guarantee that you will eat well and drink spicy food." Zhou Yuanchao nodded and said, "Okay." Immediately, Zhou Yuanchao felt a little disappointed again and said, "Hey, I can't bear to leave Mr. Sun and Aunt Li after leaving my parents and coming here. I treat them as my elders." "Don't worry, Mr. Sun is already old and has long passed the retirement age," Huo Yingzhe said. "It's time to retire and spend your old age. Besides, Mr. Sun's house has been taken back long ago, and his children, my father has also been transferred back to them through various connections. In the future, with his children by his side, Mr. Sun and Aunt Li will not be left empty." "That's right," Zhou Yuanchao said, "this way we can leave with peace of mind. If you want to see Mr. Sun in the future, you can also go to his home." "Well, yes," Huo Yingzhe nodded. "Tomorrow I plan to invite people in our group to have dinner at my house, and you and your wife will also go there." Zhou Yuanchao felt a little sour, but this was work. The education they receive is like a brick, and I can move it wherever it needs to go. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 808. 806. In the evening, Mr. Sun was rarely in the kitchen with Aunt Li. Seeing them coming, Mr. Sun said with a smile, "Come on, little girl, let Grandpa hug you. She's quite heavy." "Mr. Sun, you'd better sit down before hugging her." "Don't flash your waist," Zhou Yuanchao said. He waited until Mr. Sun sat down before giving the child to Mr. Sun. Mr. Sun has never had children around him, and he watched little Nayunia being born and grew up, and he liked it very much. "Come and see Grandpa, My little girl has become pretty again, Mr. Sun said with a smile, and kept teasing the child. Little Nayunia giggled from time to time in Mr. Sun's arms. Yuan Chao, brother Huo, you stay with Mr. Sun, and I'll help Aunt Li in the kitchen, Wang Ying said. It's not easy to prepare a table of food, so Aunt Li can't be tired. Okay, you go ahead, Zhou Yuan Chao said. It should be fine for 3 grown men and 1 child. Huo Yingzhe often brought diapers to them when he came home, so they didn't have to worry about Nayunia peeing on them. Wang Ying entered the kitchen, and Zhou Yuan Chao couldn't help but ask, General Manager Sun, I heard from the boss that we are going to be transferred to Yanjing together. In fact, we are really reluctant to leave here. Last time we went on a mission, I found that we were not here outside. Okay, intrigue and fight for fame and fortune. Not everyone is as indifferent to fame and fortune as Mr. Sun, and is dedicated to serving the public good, Huo Yingzhe said. When we are bullied, it is because we are not strong. Today and the past are different than before. I will protect you. Thank you, Boss, Zhou Yuan Chao said, grateful in his heart. He knew his shortcomings, but he just couldn't change them. Working under other people would be exhausting and he wouldn't be able to do well. Mr. Sun smiled and said, the reason why I let you be transferred with Yingzhe is for your own good. You can't change your temper no matter how many times I tell you, and although you are capable, you don't have enough innovative thinking. Being with Yingzhe will always achieve greater results than working alone. Besides, in August of this year, I will retire. I will not suffer a loss without me taking care of you, but I will not achieve great achievements in my life. General Engineer Sun's arrangements reflect his good intentions. Thank you, Mr. Sunday, Zhou Yuan Chao said gratefully. Having such an elder give him advice will be of great benefit to him throughout his life. Chief Engineer Sun was worried that Zhou Yuan Chao had a knot in his heart, and reminded him again, Yuan Chao, do the right things before you are 30, and follow the right people after you are 30. You know what Yingzhe is like. As long as you are good, he won't treat you badly. I made a note of it, Zhou Yuan Chao said. I know my shortcomings, so I follow the boss and lean against the big tree so I can enjoy the shade. If his mother is the person who loves him the most in the world, then Chief Engineer Sun is Zhou Yuan Chao's benefactor, and Huo Yingzhe is Zhou Yuan Chao's guide. Even though he knew that Huo Yingzhe was younger than him, Zhou Yuan Chao was still willing to call him boss. Just make a note of it, Mr. Sun said. I can rest assured after I have arranged the arrangements for you too. By the way, you have 2 weeks to arrange your time. You can figure it out yourself. General Manager Sun, after you retire, you should cultivate yourself well, Huo Yingzhe said. Take good care of your health. We will visit you often in the future. Haha, it will be much easier to travel after retirement, Mr. Sun said. Now that the number of talents has gradually increased, it is time to make way for some young people. I hope that young people can use more youth and enthusiasm to devote themselves to work and promote the cause of science. Development of Aunt Li was very happy when she heard that her husband could retire. Now she can often go back to Nanxi to visit her son and grandson. Although she wanted to stay in Nanxi, she was worried that the old man was here alone, so she had no choice but to come to the research institute. When you retire, you can have some leisure time. It's time to take a break. Aunt Li took out some wine, and Mr. Sun made an exception and got a small glass. He was very happy. Huo Yingzhe, Zhou Yuan Chao felt a little reluctant to part with him, so he drank a few more drinks. When he said goodbye in the evening, Zhou Yuan Chao was swaying. Although Huo Yingzhe drank a lot and was a little dizzy, he did not stagger around. Brother Huo, help Zhou Yuan Chao. He is so old and he is still drunk, Wang Ying said. Although Zhou Yuan Chao likes to drink, he never gets drunk. What happened today? It's okay, he just feels a little melancholy, Huo Yingzhe said. Zhou Yuan Chao probably hasn't told Wang Ying about being transferred to Yanjing yet. Huo Yingzhe didn't say anything about such a thing, and ask Zhou Yuanchao to talk to Wang Ying when he sobered up tomorrow. What's there to be unhappy about? Wang Ying asked curiously. Her husband's project had just been completed and everything went smoothly, so there was nothing to be unhappy about. Haha, don't worry, it's not a bad thing, Huo Yingzhi said. I'll tell you when Zhou Yuanchao sobers up, and I won't talk too much. Wang Ying still wanted to ask, but she and Huo Yingzhi had no intention of saying anything, so she didn't ask any more questions. Even if it's not a bad thing, just wait until Zhou Yuanchao wakes up. Huo Yingzhi sent Zhou Yuanchao home before returning to his dormitory. Lying in bed, Huo Yingzhi couldn't sleep and wanted to calculate his future fortune, but he could only see good luck but could not calculate specific things. In order to avoid backlash, Huo Yingzhi had no choice but to give up. Forget it, when the soldiers come, they will cover up the water and the earth. Take one step at a time. Anyway, there was no big disaster. The next day, Huo Yingzhi announced the transfer order in front of the team members and invited everyone to dinner. Originally, he wanted to cook it at home, but seeing so many ingredients, Huo Yingzhi couldn't cook it, and there weren't that many plates at home, so he went to a restaurant in the living area to treat him. Everyone, be casual, Huo Yingzhi said, you have worked hard with me this time. I am leaving this time. I treat everyone to a meal as a breakup meal. The mountains are no longer flowing. The sun will shine. See, I don't know what year or month it is. But as long as you find me with something, I will try my best to help you as long as it is within my ability. Boss, we are reluctant to let you go, Qian Miao Miao said, working with the boss, although the work is a bit tiring, we have many holidays and bonuses. The most important thing is that every project we do is top-notch. Yes, it will be difficult for us to get so much credit when the boss is gone, Tang Xinliang said with emotion. By being around Huo Yingzhi, not only can we learn many effective methods, but we can also broaden our thinking. Everyone has mixed feelings in their hearts, but they also know that there is no such thing as a feast that lasts forever. However, boss, we still wish you success in your work, good health, and a better career, Qian Miao Miao said. She is an old team member who has been with Huo Yingzhi from the beginning, and her status is unusual. Seeing this, other people also said blessings. Because their mission was completed, everyone was very relaxed and almost drunk, so they had to find someone to send them back. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 809. 807. Huo Yingzhi walked alone on the quiet road, thinking about what happened over the years. I thought it was a small thing that I had forgotten, but I still remember it vividly. In a blink of an eye, 11 years have passed. There are several 11 years in a person's life. Especially from the age of 18 to 30, this period of precious youth is the most energetic period in life. Looking up at the sky and looking at the vast stars in the sky, Huo Yingzhi finally realized that he was no longer the aloof Changling god, but a small human being like a drop in the ocean. Whether it's great or small, it's just a realm, a state of mind. All he had to do was move forward unswervingly along this path. Although there were ups and downs on the road, beautiful scenery, and even many forks in the road, Huo Yingzhi always firmly regarded He Tian Tian as a beacon guiding the way. As long as he looked at the waiting tower, even if he took detours, bumps, wind and waves, he would still be there. Can find the way home. After thinking about this, I no longer feel the original loss, but instead gain a sense of freedom and ease after gaining more life experience. Afterwards, Huo Yingzhi took the lead in leaving Nanxi Research Institute and went home after some handovers. Zhang Aijun and Yunfan were responsible for sending Huo Yingzhi to the designated unit in Yanjing within the specified time. Huo Yingzhi didn't come back last weekend, which had never happened since the Chinese New Year. He Tian was a little worried and didn't know what happened. The letter He Tian received was also from a week ago, so it was impossible to know the latest situation. If it was a matter of confidentiality, Huo Yingzhe would not write it in the letter. Tian Tian, why didn't Yingzhe come back last weekend? Zhang Lifang asked. She was used to Saturdays and her son would deliver meals on Sundays, so missing her son made Zhang Lifang a little worried. Although Tian Tian was also worried, she didn't want her mother-in-law to worry too much. She smiled and said, I heard that brother Yingzhe's project has reached its most critical moment. He is probably very busy. When the work is over, he will probably be able to come back. Oh, that's right, Zhang Lifang had no doubts. If it weren't for the fact that things couldn't go away, the boy would never give up this weekend. Just as he was talking, Huo Yingzhe arrived home. It's only Wednesday today, why are you back? Tian Tian was curious, but seeing that Huo Yingzhe was fine, she could finally feel relieved. Yes, just now Tian Tian said you were busy with work. Zhang Lifang said, by the way, why did you bring so many to the ceremony? 3 big boxes. Huo Yingzhe smiled and said, Mom, let me in first, and we'll talk while eating. Huo Jekan also saw something was wrong and said, Lifang, hurry up and order some noodles for the children to eat. Zhang Aijun and Yunfan follow Huo Yingzhe back to Nanxi every week, so they have their permanent rooms here. The two of them put their things away and went directly to the kitchen to cook. Zhang Aijun works very quickly and can make a delicious pot of noodles even with dry noodles. After dinner, Zhang Aijun and Yunfan were standing outside. Grandma Wang took the child to her house and asked Huo Yingzhe to talk serious things to her family. Tian Tian made tea and poured 4 cups. Huo Jekan drank tea and asked, Yingzhe, have you been fired? Cough cough cough, Huo Yingzhe coughed several times and couldn't believe what he heard. Dad, in your heart, is your son so unbearable that he would be expelled from the company? That's right, Yingzhe is my son and a genius. So our combined IQs are not as high as his, how can we be expelled? Zhang Lifang was not happy and opened her mouth to complain about her husband's nonsense. To deny her son is to deny her. Haha, isn't this just a guess? Huo Jekan smiled and said, Yingzhe, please tell me, what's going on? Huo Yingzhe smiled and said, originally, I thought Dad would be transferred to Yanjing first, but I didn't expect that I would have to report to Yanjing in advance. When Tian Tian heard this, she thought of the last time Huo Yingzhe almost died, and she felt stupid. His face was pale and he was silent for a long time. Zhang Lifang patted her daughter-in-law's hand and asked hurriedly, going to Shengaogu again? Seeing his mother, his wife was very worried. Huo Yingzhe quickly explained, no, I focus on materials. I mainly study various scarce materials. There is no need to go to Shengaogu. I am in some state-owned military-industrial enterprises and state-owned enterprises in Yanjing. After hearing this, the 3 people finally breathed a sigh of relief. So that's it, Huo Jekan said, well, generally speaking, going to Yanjing will be better for your future development. Zhang Lifang looked at Tian Tian and smiled, can I go home every day? Okay, Huo Yingzhe said, I have received a clear answer from Mr. Sunday. That's good, Zhang Lifang said, Tian Tian likes to be a teacher. You can apply for transfer and go directly to Huaqing University or Yanjing University to teach. Tian Tian waved her hands and said, Mom, I don't have that much ability. I don't dare to teach because I'm afraid that I don't know enough. If you are not knowledgeable enough, you can continue to take the exam. Apply for a master's degree there and study for 2 years and you will have confidence. Huo Jekan suggested that only the children who are smart and knowledgeable can be successful. After hearing this, Tianation's eyes lit up and she nodded, okay, when this semester is over, I will go to Yanjing to continue my studies. Going to school is enjoyment for Tian Tian. At the same time, when her child is 5 years old, she can go to daycare and education classes, and she will have more free time. Okay, Zhang Lifang also agreed, Yingzhe, when will you set off? There are still 13 days, so there is no rush. Huo Yingji said. By the way, is Huashan still in Yanjing? Here you are, He Tiantian nodded. You want to see Huashan if you have something to do. Huo Yingji smiled and said, yes, it's time to tidy up our house in Yanjing. I plan to live in our own home and don't want to live in an old house. I will send him a telegram tomorrow and ask him to help me decorate it. Let's buy some furniture. You just ask him to find someone to repair the house, and find a room for you to live in first, and then wait for me to come over. He Tiantian said. She was worried about others doing it and wanted to do it herself. Haha, okay. Huo Yingji smiled, thinking that He Tiantian had absolute control over her, and she might not be able to appreciate what others did. It's great. When we go back in the future, we can live in our own home, Zhang Lifang said happily. From now on, her sister-in-law will show her face that she has a place to go, instead of having to go upstairs and hide in her room. When encountering such a topic, Huo Jekan stopped talking and looked at each other with Huo Yingji, pretending not to understand anything. Faced with her husband's performance, Zhang Lifang was satisfied and could not continue to talk, lest her husband feel uncomfortable. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 810. 808. When there were only two of them, He Tiantian finally couldn't help humming an unknown tune, babbling, and twisting her light body as if dancing to express her joy while cleaning the house. Finally, there is no need to live separately in two places. Whenever something happens at home, I can discuss it with Huo Yingji. After Huo Yingji finished washing, he saw such a cheerful He Tiantian. Are you happy? Huo Yingji asked with a smile while wiping his hair. Yeah, I'm very happy, He Tiantian said. You can go home every day from now on. But we need to move to Yanjing, Huo Yingji said guiltily. I know you like Nanji, but going to Yanjing is a strange place and starting over. It doesn't matter, the place where you are is our home, He Tiantian said, and my father-in-law will be transferred to Yanjing sooner or later. At that time, we will still have to shift our focus to Yanjing. Now it's just earlier. It's not a stranger, there's Xiao Yan there too. Wherever he is, it is her home. He Tiantian was caught off guard and poured a jar of honey into his mouth. The sweetness could not be dissolved in his mouth. Well, I will try my best to spend more time with you in the future, Huo Yingji said. By the way, we don't have to wait for the weekend today. I will take you swimming today. He Tianatian's eyes lit up and she said, is it okay? Of course, Huo Yingji said, I will take you there after a while. Okay, He Tiantian was delighted. When Huo Yingji was away, she didn't dare to go alone. She could only take a bath in her own big wooden barrel to relieve her thirst for water. Huo Yingji can go home on weekends, and he will take He Tiantian out for swimming at night. There is also a swimming pool in the city, but the people inside are like dumplings. He Tiantian is not happy to be crowded with so many people. When he arrived in Yanjing, He Tiantian must build a swimming pool, a big swimming pool. Huo Yingji was not in a hurry to report, and decided to stay at home for a week to spend time with his family before leaving. After Huo Yingji sent He Tiantian to school, he went to the post office and sent a telegram to Huashan and Niu Dajin, asking them to find someone to help clean up the house. After that, he began the life of a house husband. I saw a tall, handsome man who came to the vegetable market every morning carrying a big bamboo basket to buy vegetables. Even though Huo Yingji didn't bargain, but he looked at him with those deep eyes, the vegetable seller automatically gave Huo Yingji an affordable price, and before leaving, he also gave him some green onions, ginger, and garlic. After returning home, Zhang Aijun helped cook together, and Huo Yingji learned a lot from Zhang Aijun. At noon, Huo Yingji could not help but send a loving lunch to his mother and daughter-in-law. Hey, teacher, didn't your loved ones only get delivered on Saturdays before? Mi Wei said enviously. Why do you get delivered on weekdays as well? Don't you have to work? He Tian drank rose tea and said with a smile, he transferred his work and took a few days off. He will report to the new unit in a few days. Where are you being transferred to? Mi Wei asked. Teacher He, do you want to come with me? If you don't follow me, won't you have to live in two separate places? Teacher Wu heard the conversation here and echoed, yes, Teacher He, you are young and energetic. It is always not good to live in two places. It is easy to get into trouble. Since learning from the experience, Teacher Wu has made some changes. Although her husband has not returned to the previous love, he can still live in peace and care for each other, instead of being in a cold war like before. Furthermore, Teacher Wu also felt that He Tian was a nice person, and there were some things that he couldn't get jealous of even if he wanted to, so he let it go. Therefore, the relationship between the three female teachers in the office was much more harmonious than before. Na Mi Wei is newly married and has made some changes. The couple's relationship is going well. Transferred to Yanjing, He Tian said with a smile on his face. Yanjing is very far away, Mi Wei said. Do you want to transfer there too? He Tian smiled and said, I won't transfer. After this semester is over, I will resign and go to Yanjing with my husband. I want to review well and prepare to continue my studies. Teacher He, it's good for you to be like this, Teacher Wu said. Your family is not short of money, and it will always be beneficial to study more. Besides, it will be easier to study after you are admitted to a graduate school. When you finish it, you will be fine. Be a teacher in school. Teacher He, in fact, with your academic qualifications, you can definitely transfer to the university in Yanjing, Mi Wei said. You don't have to study. Haha, let's take a look then, He Tian said. Even if she is not studying, she still has business to take care of and will not be idle. Mi Wei nodded and said, you are a very planning person, so I won't say more. However, you must not forget us in the future and write letters frequently. That's natural, He Tian said. I'm afraid that you won't have time to reply to me if you are busy. Haha, no, just send me something delicious for you, and I will reply to you with a heartfelt letter, Mi Wei exaggerated. She likes to joke the most, and she has a close relationship with He Tian. It's relatively intimate, so there's no harm in talking about it. I will definitely send it to you, He Tian said. They are all colleagues she gets along well with. If they can continue to interact, naturally they cannot cut off contact. Teacher Chen heard their conversation and said, hey, our school has lost another good teacher. Teacher Chen, thank you for the compliment, He Tian said modestly. She did not dare to accept such a compliment. I'm not praising you, but just telling you another fact, Teacher Chen said. Whether it's test scores, learning atmosphere, or creative atmosphere, they are all the best. This year, there are 20 people in your class. I published an article, which has a lot to do with you. I went to a meeting this morning, and the school even praised you. Haha, it's all students who are working hard, I just give them appropriate guidance, He Tian said, not daring to take credit. The correct guidance of university teachers is often more important than teaching them knowledge. Through guidance, students can develop their potential, innovate and learn on their own. Teacher Chen sighed, very envious. I won't talk about that. Tang Pingan, right? The martial arts novels are selling well in Hong Kong. There are also 2 publishers of novels. Oh, and recently there are people who are good at writing poems. They publish 1 poem a week on average. It won't take long for them to publish a poetry collection. Teacher Wu and Mi Wei are both envious. Mi Wei smiled and said, Teacher Chen, don't be envious. You can teach an excellent teacher, which is much better than simply teaching an excellent student. You are also great. Haha, Teacher Chen laughed, you're right, I taught you a good teacher. He Tian has not only been Teacher Chen's student for 3 years, but also the best student and now an excellent teacher. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 811. 809. But this is not the time to say goodbye to the students. Okay, the exam is about to come, and the students are reviewing. I will wait until they finish the exam before talking about this matter, He Tian said. You guys keep it a secret for me first. Okay, I will keep it a secret for you, Mi Wei said. When will you go to Yanjing? We will see you off. Okay, He Tian said. Thank you, I'll go to the class first. After He Tian left, Wang Ben finally spoke and said, Teacher, his partner is really lucky to have such a good wife. By the way, Teacher Chen, do you know what Teacher his partner does? Yes, we also want to know. He is so good looking, even better looking than a movie star, Teacher Wu said. I don't know what I was doing before, but I know that when Mr. He was admitted to university, the files transferred were top secret files. The Huo Yingjia file, with top secret written on it, was sent directly to the safe in the dean's office. Ahem, Mi Wei was shocked. He was drinking water and was choked. Top secret files, this past identity or job is very mysterious. Yeah, that's not all, Teacher Chen said. In my junior year, Teacher He's target didn't apply at all. He was transferred directly with a transfer order. The college thesis was not supervised by the teacher of the chemistry department, but the teachers in our school are not qualified to read papers written directly by the leaders of the work unit based on actual projects. Oh my God, so awesome, Mi Wei exclaimed. You can't tell, he's just a pretty boy. People should not be judged by their appearance, and sea water should not be measured by measure, Teacher Chen said. It's good for you to know, but don't talk nonsense. In fact, many people know about this matter, so Teacher Chen said it. We won't talk, Wang Ben nodded and stopped asking. At the same time, he was even more certain that He Tian's family was extraordinary. He Tian looked into the classroom from the window and saw the students reviewing seriously, so she quietly left. The exam was coming up in 10 days, which was the time for students to review. He Tian didn't need to go to school, so she stayed at home with Huo Yingjia. Thinking that from now on, Huo Yingjia can go home every day, he feels very happy. By the way, brother Yingjia, I applied for a passport and wanted to go abroad, but it's been more than 20 days and it hasn't been reviewed yet. He Tian was a little distressed. She had planned to go abroad. Ahem, Huo Yingjia looked a little embarrassed. Haha, I guess it will be difficult for you to go abroad in the future. Why? He Tian asked, a little confused. Because the projects I do are all at the forefront of the world, and some of them have not been researched abroad, so. Huo Yingjia explained, not daring to look into He Tian's eyes. Ah, He Tian was stunned. Are you so good? The materials you studied are not available abroad. Well, maybe there is, and no one else has revealed it, Huo Yingjia said, so he asked to keep it secret. Oh, He Tian nodded. Forget it then. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Huo Yingjia apologized. He probably wouldn't be able to go abroad for the rest of his life. As for Tian, he was probably a little worried. It's okay, He Tian said, this is also because you are too good. It's okay. I won't blame you. My parents have a special plane there, so it's more convenient for them to come back. Tian, thank you for your understanding. Huo Yingjia was grateful that his wife understood him so well. We are husband and wife, we are one body, and you are working and contributing to the country. How can I not understand? He Tian said. Okay, don't feel guilty, I am very happy. Huo Yingjia hugged He Tian tightly, feeling unprecedented happiness and peace of mind. Time flies quickly, a week has passed. Huo Yingjia carried the salute prepared by He Tian, packed all the baggage onto the train, and headed straight for Yanjing. Niu Daejin came to pick up Huo Yingja in person. Yingja, the room has been packed for you and I bought you some things. If you are not satisfied, we will ask someone to change it, Niu Daejin said. He was very happy to hear that Huo Yingja was coming to Yanjing to work. Chi Xiaoyan also felt that Huo Yingja's coming to Yanjing was not far away from He Tianation's coming to Yanjing. Thank you, Brother Daejin. Huo Yingja smiled. Is your work in Yanjing going well? It went well. The two shops have been built and are now being renovated. Huashan is watching over there, so he didn't come to pick you up, Niu Daejin explained. By the way, I will send you home first to put down your luggage and take the two shops with you, brothers. Let's go to my house for dinner. Xiao Yan and my parents are preparing at home. Haha, you're welcome then, Huo Yingja said. By the way, has Xiao Yan passed the exam? I passed the exam and became a disciple of teacher Gu, Niu Daejin said. You can go to school when the school starts. My children at home will be in the first grade after attending the Yaheng class. Aren't you a little young? Huo Yingja asked. Niuda, Niu Er, is only 1 year older than the children at home. Don't mention it, Niu Daejin said with a grimace. You are not old, but you are big. The two brothers are in the Yaheng class, and they are invincible in the world. The teacher of the Yaheng class made it clear to us that we must start school, let them go to primary school, and don't let them stay in Yaheng class and cause trouble to other primary school students. Haha, your child does look older than others, Huo Yingja smiled, but you have to teach him well and don't hit anyone. I told Xiao Yan that it was useless to fight. I turned around and forgot about it, Niu Daejin said. Xiao Yan and I have been very busy in the past 6 months. Not to mention, we have to go to school every 3 days to be beating the child and apologizing to the parents. This year, the amount of compensation and apology sent out alone is over $1,000, what a waste of money. Huo Yingja smiled and said, actually, your child is not bad in nature, he is just a little naughty. It would be better if he was older. That's what I thought before, but now it's no longer possible. We still need to strictly manage it, Niu Daejin said. When he talked about his children, he burst into tears. When I was a child, although I was naughty and annoying, my destructive power was not so great. Now I have grown up, and in the blink of an eye I can no longer be seen. After a while, when he got home, Huo Yingja put down his things and took a look at the yard. It was clean, and the paint in other places had been painted. Niu Daejin and Huashan are doing a good job. Let's go to my house for dinner, Niu Daejin greeted. Although there are pots and pans here, it is a bit hard to drive all the way, and cooking will make you a little tired. Furthermore, Chi Xiaoyan had already said that she would treat Huo Yingja to dinner, so Niu Daejin had to take Huo Yingja back no matter what. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 812. 810. Chi Xiaoyan saw Huo Yingja coming and welcomed him warmly. Huo Yingja is here, and Sister Tian Tian is coming to Yanjing soon. Having met Zhang Aijun several times before, Chi Xiaoyan recognized him and invited them to join him for dinner. Niu's father and Niu's mother have now adapted to life in Yanjing. The father of the cow goes out for a walk every day and plays chess with the old man in the nearby park. He picks up his grandson after school. The mother of the cow goes shopping, cooks and does housework with the neighbors. She lives a comfortable life. Gradually getting used to the current life. After Huo Yingja had eaten, he went home to rest. Early the next morning, Huo Yingja, accompanied by Zhang Aijun and Yunfan, went to the unit above where he was transferred. Oh, what a coincidence, the unit where he worked was not far from his home. If you drive, it only takes 40 minutes. But cars are hard to buy, so we have to let that guy Qi Zhengan think of a way. After the handover, I received some work manuals, and then the new unit sent 2 more people to Huo Yingja to follow him. Huo Yingja bought some vegetables, and then, With the help of Zhang Aijun and Huo Yingzhe, he prepared a table of vegetables for Zhang Aijun and Yunfen to say goodbye to. They had been by his side and protective all these years. There is no credit, there is also hard work. Brother Zhang, Yunfen, if you do well, brother, I'm happy for you, Huo Yingzhe said. If you don't do well, or if you have something urgent, you can come to me. As long as I can do it, I will help you. Zhang Aijun rubbed his hands and said, Yingzhe, thank you for your kindness. We are very satisfied with our current work. But I have a request. I hope you can help Li Yunzong. Huh, Huo Yingzhe was surprised. Didn't Li Yunzong go back to his hometown? He seems to be at the local police station. Yes, Zhang Aijun said, it's just that Li Yunzong found a case in which the local county magistrate's brother-in-law raped a woman. Li Yunzong resolutely sent the rapist to prison, which offended the local staff. After that, Li Yunzong offended many people. In the end, he was framed and was dismissed from his job. The person he had agreed to marry was about to get married, but he didn't agree and was working on the farm at home. Li Yunzong can do this, Huo Yingzhe said. Okay, you give me his address, and I will send him a telegram in the afternoon and ask him to come to Yanjing to find me. You can't waste your skills, and follow me. I can't treat him badly by being around him for such a long time. Zhang Aijun was delighted and said, Yingzhe, I thank you on behalf of Yunzong. It's okay. Anyway, my wife's shops need someone to manage them. He can always find a suitable position if he comes over, Huo Yingzhe said. Besides, I believe in his character. Yunfen's eyes were bright. He would probably be discharged from the army in the future. If he was not happy at work, he would have a place to go. Brother Huo, you value love and righteousness. It is our honor to know you, Yunfen said. Come on, Brother Huo, let me toast you. Huo Yingzhe smiled and said, we are all brothers, don't say more, just do it. The two new young people looked at each other, but at the same time they were relieved. If Huo Yingzhe could get the love of Zhang Aijun and Yunfen, he should be a good leader. With a good leader, they will be able to succeed in the future. These two people are Xie Wu and Zhang Ning. In fact, Zhang Aijun said this to help Huo Yingzhe win people's hearts. In the afternoon, Huo Yingzhe prepared a big gift package for Zhang Aijun and Yunfen, and they sent it on the train. When I came back, I passed by the post office and sent a telegram to Li Yunzong. I also mailed 500 yuan to Li Yunzong. Xie Wu whispered to Zhang Ning beside him, the leader is thoughtful. The former bodyguard has fallen into despair. Not only did he send a telegram, but he also gave me money. At least he can settle his parents and have money to buy a train ticket. Yes, Zhang Ning said, this is a good leader, let's work hard. Yes, Xie Wu said, both of them were around 20 years old, and they might not understand some things, but when it came, the captain told them to protect Huo Yingzhe. They only regard it as a task and do not want to invest too much friendship. Now that they saw Huo Yingzhe acting like this, they gradually changed their previous thoughts. Outside of work, they will be more dedicated. Early the next morning, Huo Yingzhe brought some gifts and went to visit his grandmother and grandfather. Because there are 3 of us, we can't walk there, and we don't have bicycles at home. While he was worrying, Huashan drove over and said, Yingzhe, this is the car Tian Tian ordered. I will send you one first, and there is another one at the company. I will send it to you in the evening. By the way, your home, the garage is over by the back door. Why are you going back to your old house? Huo Yingzhe said excitedly, come on, get in the car, how about I try this car? Just, do you have a driver's license? Huashan reminded, you can't start without a driver's license. We are responsible for our own lives and the lives of others. Haha, Huo Yingzhe smiled. He could drive, but he didn't have a driver's license. Xie Wu stepped forward and said, Leader, I can drive, I have a driver's license, and I have 2 years of driving experience. Actually, according to your leadership level, there is a car, but it is not in place yet, Zhang Ning reminded. Huashan's eyes lit up. Huo Yingzhe probably wouldn't need this car anymore. Huo Yingzhe felt sour when he thought of the jeep that could break his butt into 4 pieces. Fortunately, the road conditions in Yanjing are better and should not be so bumpy. Since someone is driving and has a driver's license, I'm relieved, Huashan said. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first and I'll send you another car in the evening. Okay, thank you for your hard work, Huashan, Huo Yingzhe said. This man did his job with all his heart, and he did not pass on the technique to them in vain. It's not hard work, you should do it, Huashan chuckled and said, as long as you do things well, you can increase your cultivation. He, his master, Kui Ying and others all benefited greatly. He has experienced and fallen in love with the human world. His current stage is suitable for training his mind in the world of mortals. With the addition of exercises, he has made rapid progress. Xiewu drove, Zhang Ning sat on the passenger seat, and Huo Yingzhe sat in the back. Huo Yingzhe reported an address, Xiewu started and drove away. Oh my, having a car is so convenient. It took no more than 30 minutes to arrive at the Huo family's old house, including the time spent buying fruits for the grandparents and children on the way. Of course, the Huo family's old residence is where the meritorious people live. Cars cannot enter and can only park at the door. Xiewu, you wait here, I will accompany the leader in, Zhang Ning said. At the gate, there were people with guns standing guard, checking the IDs of Huo Yingzhe and Zhang Ning, and then letting them in after confirming that they were correct. When they arrived at home, only Mrs. Huo and Mr. Huo were at home. They were surprised to see Huo Yingzhe.